Section of Wall Street and Washington. Nobody covers politics like Bloomberg.
You were based in the northeast part of the United States for much of your career, but you picked up and moved to Miami. Why did you do that a few years ago? And any regrets about moving to Miami?
My mom's down there, and I got divorced. That was one reason. Change your life, start over. There was obviously a tax benefit to doing so, and I'd sold an interest in my firm at the time. I was based in Connecticut. I was based in Greenwich. Our headquarters
but at that time, before COVID, people said, Barry, you're moving to another part of the world. Was that people thinking you were a little bit strange to do that?
Yes, they did. I didn't think it'd be that hard to move and make that my base of operations. It turned out I caught the wave perfectly. I was an early settler into Miami, and the home prices probably tripled there. I should have just bought I shouldn't have traveled the world. I should have bought everything with my house. I would have had the best performing real estate fund in the world.
The President of the United States calls you and says, Barry, you're a smart guy. I need a Secretary of Treasury who knows real estate and, who's a Democrat. I assume you're a Democrat.
I put myself as an independent right
now. Okay. But if any president of any party then called you, would you ever go into government, or you're a private sector person?
No, I would serve the nation. I would. I think that I do think the government could use a few business people, and despite the lack of love we may have for us, I think the government has to treat itself a little like a corporation. They have a budget, and they have limited resources now. You have a $32 trillion deficit, so you have to figure out what you need to get done versus what you'd like to get done. There are so many benefits to being unemployed now. There's so many support systems that I think some people say, I'll work part-time and collect my unemployment benefits. 31% of our housekeepers we cannot find. And we're paying $15 an hour. We used to be paying $9, and now there are benefits, and they're not there. So those people are probably some of these people that may be hanging out on unemployment ranks or getting all kinds of subsidies. And we need the government to say, if you have a hardship, and we understand we'll help you, but we should educate people. We should train them for jobs and bring them back to a productive society.
What is the best investment advice you've ever received?
I was talking to one of the most successful hedge fund managers in the United States, and he said, I expected him to tell me about some horrific investment he made and he lost all his money. He said, not selling my winners too early. And I think about that all the time. Human nature, even in running a stock portfolio, is to take your gains and hold your losses, hoping they come back to par. And the same thing applies to real estate. We want, we got a high IRR on this deal, we'll sell this asset, pocket the 47 IRR, and our bad deals, hopefully we'll make our money back. And you know this from Carlisle, we spent all our time on the bad deals, and so I think that has been, we had a portfolio, a company that we were gonna sell, and we made $900 million, and I said, we're not selling it. My partners were furious. But this one, I had done this deal, so I said, I'm holding this, and we sold it 4 years later and made $1.4 billion.
All right, what do you think the most common mistake that investors make, the average investor, most common mistake?
That. They sell their gains too soon.
And they sell too soon, okay.
And they hold on, they don't cut their losses, and they hope things will get better, when hope is not a business strategy.
So if your mother came to you and said, I have $100,000, I need to invest it somewhere, where should I invest it? You would say, where? Real estate?
Well, today, if you look at my portfolio, I have a significant amount of cash that I never had before, because I'm getting 5% for the cash.
So as you look back on your career, what would you say you're most proud of? It's building one of the biggest real estate companies in the United States and the world, your philanthropic activities, your children. What is it you're most proud of having achieved?
We start with my kids. I'm happy with my 3 children. That's your legacy, really. For me, building Starwood Hotels, not only were we the best performing large cap hotel company of the 10 years I ran the company, I won Best Lodging Executive in the country in Institutional Investor magazine, displacing, I think, 6 years that Bill Marriott had that award. But I built a company with a good soul. And that was the untold story of Starwood, because we had to I said I wanted our hotels to be the shining light in each community we served. And I made our people give back to the communities.
critical role in the global economy is changing as the world recalibrates. After decades of stagnation, Japan's leaders are forging a more innovative and sustainable path forward to revitalize the nation. Corporate giants, policymakers, and pioneers tell us how they're doing just that. Every week on Japan Ahead, right here on Bloomberg Television.
For the first, call it 18 years at Chipotle, this was you come into Chipotle along the line, you interact with the crew, and you customize your meal. We've got this separate make line, and it's digitized, and so the orders come in, and they're really kind of staged so that if you say at noon, I want to come in at 1 o'clock, we hold that order, and we will send it to the crew like maybe 10 to 1,
right.
So it's ready right when you pull up your car.
How do you manage these kind of two different staffing needs, right?
Yes.
And making sure you have the right amount of people
Yes.
at the right time.
We spend a lot of time projecting sales. A lot of it is, it's part art, part science. We're trying to bring more science and more AI into it. Because if you get the right sales projection, then you know exactly what your staffing needs to be. So if you get the sales right, you can get the entire restaurant staffed perfectly. With just a couple people, our average restaurant now does about over $1 million per restaurant in digital sales.
Welcome to the world of decentralized finance.
I'm going to take a look right here at regulation.
We are seeing digital currencies under some pressure.
Bloomberg's covering all things crypto, the people.
I want to have some of my money outside of the sovereign.
The transactions.
This is a simple case of where did the money go?
And the technology.
If people wish to invest in it, they must be prepared to lose their money.
I am still very positive on real utility into this space.
Bloomberg Crypto.
On the David Rubenstein Show, Peer-to-Peer Conversations, I uncover the untold stories of the world's most successful leaders. Watch Wednesdays on Bloomberg Television.
I think that it's hard to put your head around any narrative. Let's just be honest. We've had sort of a shift in, are we in some sort of stagflation fears moment? People were talking about that all day yesterday.
You know, when you were small, young, did you have like smiles in your eyes and hope, and dreams in your heart? Or were you like me?
I wasn't a Pollyanna or a doomer. I was pretty pragmatic as a kid.
What did you want to be when you grew up?
A doctor.
And you've ended up doing this with me.
I didn't see a cat with a rocket on its back in my future, no.
I did see jetpacks in my future as a child. Where's my jetpack?
That's the thing about being a kid. You don't really know what the future's gonna look like, and anything can kind of come in and seem like it can happen.
Yeah, I wanted my hoverboard, my jetpack, my flying car. And I wanted at one point to marry Ariel, the Little Mermaid, but I grew out of that.
You know, we're not so far from that in artificial intelligence. Anything really seems possible right now.
Yeah, so we should talk to some people who are looking a bit further out and see where we're going to be in our future, right? Trying to predict the future is a hazardous, discouraging occupation, so said sci-fi writer Arthur C. Clarke in 1964. It's still an occupation futurists pursue, but the jobs only got tougher as the pace of technological innovation has accelerated. Think about 1964. At the World's Fair that year, AT&T's Bell Labs demoed the picture phone, low-resolution video calling on a tiny desktop screen at an astronomical cost. Bell imagined 12 million being in use by the year 2000, 4 decades down the line. But in 2000, 500 million of us had affordable mobile phone subscriptions in our pockets. And by 2010, that was closer to 5 billion. Plus, we could use them to make group video calls for free, or watch live TV while floating in a pool, or be guided to a restaurant using satellites in space. Some things are just too crazy to predict, and yet they still happen, more wildly than we expect and sooner than we plan for. With artificial intelligence set to accelerate innovation faster than ever, Is it folly to even pretend we can figure out what's just around the corner? Or is doing so actually the best job in the world?